Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Going to the second half here of Drop Frames. You guys want to talk about Fall Guys for a bit? The new Fall Guys, the
Sure.
season 4 Fall Guys. Jericho, have you jumped in at all? Have
I
you
haven't
played?
played since I haven't played since the big hype wave, so I don't know what new content there is. I don't know if it's worth jumping back into.
I think I would say it's worth. The three of us played Monday, I guess, when that launched, season 4. I think Co's played a couple other times. I think Zeke was playing. Yes, Zeke, were you playing alone yesterday? Is that what this, or is that from Monday? I don't know what VOD I'm looking at here. It might have been from Monday when this VOD was created. But Zeke's played.
No,
Is the short of it.
yeah, the last and only time I played in the last few months is with you guys.
Gotcha. Season 4 came out. They put in 7-ish new maps. I think there might be 8 off the top of my head. And also squad mode put in, which they didn't say as much, but I think Co and Zeke would probably agree with. They took the rivals scoring and put that into the game. Uh, it is Twitch rivals squad mode
in a good way.
In a good way, yes.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt. The new levels, we were talking about them while we were playing. To echo what I said in that stream, it is the Fall Guys learned how to make levels better over the past 3 seasons. And this level in particular, I think, is a great way to show that off. So we're going to have Zeke here go ahead and run through the level perfectly and flawlessly without any issues to show everything off here on first go. No, it's good. Fall Guys kind of had a weird story to it. I feel with a giant boom, and then Among Us came out and just kind of like took everything from it and like sucked the air out of the room in a lot of ways. I feel like this is a return to form in a sense, and return to a better form in a lot of ways. Like the levels are 10 times better than the first season. They are so much more fun. There's so many like small things that you can do to kind of get slightly ahead of someone else. They're much more mechanical as well, where there's like, it's not just get on top of the seesaw.
Too.
Yeah. It's like
exactly
like this one right here. This is great. The goal here in this one is to get to the circle right there that is spinning, and you can only enter from that side, and you have to jump on the buttons to open up the right path.
But of course, everyone else is also stepping on the buttons, so it becomes this cluster of like, do you wait, do you go? Like it's pretty wild.
You sold me. I'm playing Fall Guys today.
It's great. And then this right here, they put in
this
low
is
grav.
the second time I've seen this.
Yeah, low grav and super grav here. Wait, what do you mean the second time you've seen this?
I didn't go for the flippers.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The flippers are the big bait. They work 90% of the 40% of the time. Maybe. But it's like, if this is where Fall Guys is going to go, then great. I will continue playing Fall Guys for many seasons to come. It was so much fun. It was the right amount of frustration of like, raging at this game while also smiling, which is kind of like that, that quintessential.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's that quintessential Fall Guys feeling. And I had not played this since, I think all 3 of us had not played this since the Twitch Rivals that happened many months ago. And so it was fun to go back to it and not have the giant amount of stress associated with that Rivals tournament, as well of like, if you get eliminated here, you're going to probably lose and get kicked out of the tournament. So you need to perform somewhat well here. Instead, it was just like, you can jump off and it's fine.
Nice.
That was until, of course, we started playing squad mode. And it was pretty much like, you got to perform or you're going to.
Well, it's the thing that is that really, really makes squad mode so much fun is that, first of all, you're playing on a squad. If one person on your team does very, very poorly, the whole squad's eliminated. Like they eliminate squads at a time, not just one one person. Yeah. So there's less like fuck around beans, like people who are just like, standing at the finish line trying to grab you and like all that kind of stuff and make you lose and that kind of stuff. Like you want to do well because if you don't, your team doesn't succeed either. So that's really cool. but also like it creates that like team dynamic tension. It's like you're sucking hind titty here. You need to step your game up. We want to get past round 2 here, and so you got to be better at these preliminary games.
Oh my God, I remember when that happened and we had no idea.
That blueberry,
fucked you.
Off the board there.
Oh God. Yeah.
That's another thing I love that they added is there are random like playing field like levelers. I mean, I'm sure like the top tier players obviously can like know how to avoid and shit like that, but like if you're average to above average or whatever, you can just get knocked off the board just cuz.
Yeah. For sure. Well,
not only that, so first of all,
that is such a
it's Sanic.
There are 7 new maps that they just put in. So, and each of them, just like JP said earlier, there's a lot of creativity in them. They're not like when Fall Guys just came out, they basically would take like one premise or obstacle and they would just repeat it a bunch until the end. And that was basically most of the maps. So it's like run from A to B and then you're done. Now they have like a bunch of different team games. They've got a basketball thing, a thing where you carry a battery around and change the ground. They've got an actual race now where you actually have to complete laps.
The race
through
is
a different
really
thing.
good.
Yeah, and I also love the one where it's like you have to. There's a hoverboard and you have to jump over obstacles while the board keeps moving. So there's all sorts of cool new ones that they have
amped.
There.
Yeah,
and on top of that, sorry, I was just gonna say last thing. On top of that, they also now have variants of all the original levels. So you can play like a level that you've already played before, but like the last entire section will be different, or there'll be cannon firing shit at you that wasn't there before, or like all this random stuff can pop up now. So it keeps it a lot more fresh.
Yeah.
Nice.
This map right here, by the way, in squads, Jericho, like I'm sure you've experienced where in this map, you just sit around for a minute and you don't do anything. You just, you don't, there's no need.
We didn't play, just don't play until the last 30 seconds. But I see there's like a kill feed now, and there's like, there's more to it.
This one now, in squad mode at least, is your entire team is your 4 friends, like you and 3 friends. So it's a nightmare. It's a stressful, and like, I think we had quadruple overtime on that map against 3 other teams. And
first time we played it, it was crazy.
It was the best experience we ever had on that tail map, and it was also the type of thing where I was just screaming
heart palpitation
at the top of my lungs, like, get a fucking tail. We're gonna go into overtime again. Wait, we're good. Just survive. You got 5 seconds.
Also, all of the maps like that have those long time limits, they've significantly reduced the time.
Yes.
So like the game starts with like 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
So right when you start, like you got to start doing shit or you're going to get caught out.
Yeah.
All right.
This
Good
map,
on them.
this map's also, when it's just 4 people, this map sucks. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Anyways,
well,
you've been trying to jump in.
The first time facing it, with randos, you're kind of like, okay, it's forgivable to not quite know like what the other players are doing or the strategy you guys want to do, but like when you coordinate it, like we were thinking like ahead of the game, we were way too far like going, okay, you're gonna run interference, and they left. It's like, no, we got to push the ball first, like first things first.
Yeah.
Gotta push the ball.
Well, and these little sliding pins.
Yeah, that's new.
Just like the Doom Eternal devs, the Fall Guy devs know exactly how to piss people off in the best ways possible. Because these little pins just screwed us so bad. They screwed Yellow Team right here as well. See how it blocks it completely?
Oh, I love
and then
it,
we were able to get a little bit more time, even though we ended up losing.
Meanwhile, these 2 jokers are down here trying to push this ball back. The rest of their team is up there with me. They're just like pushing it against the purple thing.
Yeah.
So they're just like bouncing it around like a ping pong ball back there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah. It's good.
I'm getting rage, and it's like days ago.
Yeah.
I'm reliving the moment.
Exactly.
Did you guys encounter any cheaters? Because that was a big problem that they had when the game launched.
I don't think we
People
did.
flying around.
I have yet to run into a hacker, and I've played a couple hours after these guys, and we played for 3 hours, 4 hours. We played for a while.
Yeah.
Drank 7 beers during that.
Yeah.
One time on Fruit Shoot where all of us were kind of like, it wasn't like
no, it didn't hit the hammer.
It wasn't obvious.
Remember?
No.
It
was when it was just one guy.
one guy left trying to do the hammer, but didn't get it. Like didn't complete the hammer like quick strat, but completed like the was running on the conveyor belts that were going backwards. Seemed like he made it up there super quick, but it wasn't like we all noticed it, but it wasn't blatant. So, but as far as like blatant cheaters like you would see before, we didn't see any.
Yeah, I don't think that they are having that issue, partially because the player count is just kind of, it seems a lot lower than it was at its peak back in the day. But they might have also introduced a lot of different, anti-cheat stuff. I think this might be the best level, by the way, that they've put in. This is the race level that Ko was talking about.
I gotcha.
It's very evocative of speedrunners, the game speedrunners, which if you've played that, it is that level in a lot of ways. But there's so much variance here with the buttons. Like this is low grav, right? So you can't
high
jump.
Grav.
Well, no, this is the low grav, and then the blue's the high. Is it? This is
higher gravity
right?
means
Yes,
you're
you're
held
right.
down more.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. This is the high grav now. The blue is the low grav. But if you hit that button back behind, it'll swap them. And so you can kind of like fuck people over in that way. But if you come back through a second time, you'll fuck yourself over in that way. And so there's a lot of just like little tricks and secrets and different things, that different jump pads that will fling you forward and fling you backwards. And that type of stuff is great. This is probably the best level that they've put in.
I thought I was doing all right on this too. Like my first time there was like, I did pretty good. I did all right. No, I did not. I was like a third of the way through the second lap and I got disqualified. I was like, whoa, okay, damn, shit.
Yeah,
I wasn't doing nearly as well as I thought.
You can go real fast if you know all the little like skips, which is kind of like Fall Guys in general, right? Once you play the level enough, you start to learn all the little intricate ins and outs of it. We didn't get to play the level that has you going up the zigzags. Is that Slime Climb? Did you play that?
Yeah. That was an original one.
Yeah. Did you play that when you played solo, Ko? Was that in there with any variables? I wonder if that's even
that one.
Huh. I wonder if they've changed that at all.
I also haven't played that memory one in a long time.
Oh, I forgot about the memory game. That was the most boring one, I think, out of all the levels.
Well, I played the memory game, I think it was the time before that, and it was the memory game, except with rows of guns on each side, firing shit the whole time. That was pretty great, actually. Geez.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, especially when it would go down to, like, there'd be a whole bunch of people on one thing, and then the cannons would fire, and everyone would be, like, moving around the pad, and, like, 10 people it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those little variants can completely change the feel of the maps.
Totally. This is another team game. You have to have, this is the battery one where you have to have the battery in order to light up the square. Then it's all calculated at the end of the day. So yeah, season 4, it's good. If you own Fall Guys and you're one to jump back in for just a couple of rounds, it's the ultimate like pick up and play for 5 minutes type game, and then put it away. And the levels are very good. We were playing PC and we were having some difficulty getting 60 people in, but we weren't having difficulty getting 40 people in to start squad mode. So I don't know if that was just like, it was day one, it was in the middle of the day, people were still working / at home at school, who knows.
Also, that mode only accepts full squads.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I would.
So you can't solo, you can't fill?
No, it does autofill. It does autofill. Yeah. But it's also the type of thing of like, it'll autofill with a group of randoms. And a lot of times, the one time that I tried that solo, after one game, 2 people left. So they're going to run into an issue with that where they're going to have to put some sort of penalty, right?
Lever penalty, yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Also, the games are short. I don't understand. Like, if you're not like in first, I don't know how the scoring works, right? But like, it just seems to me like it's so short anyways. Even if you make it to the end, we're talking 8 minutes of gameplay, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild that anybody's going to be like, all right, well, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, if you go play a BR game, right? Any online multiplayer game, people would just leave inherently.
Going through the ringer right there.
Yeah, that was
I was watching Anthony and he was like doing so well, and then he started getting hit over and over. I was like, let's switch spectating to somebody else.
Yeah. So that's Fall Guys. I don't know if Ko or Zeke have anything else to add to it, but season 4 is very good. It seems like their biggest update yet, and definitely potentially their best one. If they continue on with it.
without a doubt their best one. I played a charity thing not too long ago. It wasn't this. It was the patch or release before this content release. And man, it is so upgraded. Like this is so much more like. And the music. Did you guys mention the music? Like,
oh, that's right. They redid it.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
they remixed like a lot of the main Fall Guys tracks with like this futuristic retro wave kind of like feel to it with like drum machines and like synthesizer stuff. It's a really, really good. They went a really cool direction with it. To match like the aesthetic of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right down my lane. So, I mean, I was already a big fan of the music for a variety of reasons. So, good to hear.
Yep. It's good. It's good. This is Zeke's first time on the level, by the way, because he's fucking himself.
Also, after the charity tournament, I tweeted at the official Fall Guys account. I was like, because they mentioned they tweeted something out and they put my name, and I kept getting mentions over and over again. And it was just people going dead game, dead game, dead game. And I was like, what in the fuck?
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with that? And the Fall Guys account said they just tweeted out like a screenshot of like mute phrases. And it's like, oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Because
yeah,
it was like a meteoric rise. And then it just like stalled out, which is, you know, it happens sometimes. But I think these new game modes and like this shit, the squad shit, like, it could definitely revive it. It's that fun. It really is.
I think
just watching it, I want to play it some more now.
It's definitely like the new and improved way to play Fall Guys.
It's going to get me to play, so.
Yeah, they just got to figure out how to recapture that without specifically having someone on a show and saying like, hey, you should play this game, Tucker. Right. So we'll see how that goes. I think, Zeke, that effect happens more often than not now with games because of things like Steam Spy and people like, for some reason, people like championing their games, or it's the inverse. They like hating on things. And so when they have information to back that up and be like, hey, we only have 200 people playing blah, blah, blah. Right. Like that's ammunition for their hatred in a lot of ways.
People like the dead whatever meme a little too much, and I think a lot of people use it as like tongue in cheek. Like they don't actually mean the game's dead; they just mean that they think that it's not popular enough for them to get like it's not the hot shit that they thought it was.
Right.
But like people coming to my Counter-Strike stream like dead game. I'm like literally the most active the game has ever been, like in the entire history. Like the opposite of what you're saying, but you know it's funny to say. So.
Yeah. Alternatively, when I was playing Marvel, people came in and said dead game, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
At least on PC, it's not doing so hot. We'll get to that soon.
Well, do you think it's a matter of like, this was technically an indie game, started like that, and then it blew up, so everybody was like rooting for the underdog, and it felt good. And then it, blew the fuck up, millions and millions of copies sold, and then like they're not the underdog anymore. Now we have to root against them.
Potentially, I Among Us also just like not stole everything, but took over the limelight, right? Like Among Us was Fall Guys on crack. Like it was
free,
giant, yeah, and it also had.
I haven't heard shit about it in recent weeks and months.
It is definitely still
like the big.
It's still
Among
big.
Us is still big, and they just announced the new map coming out at the end of the month. So like, and Hafu does like lobbies in the mornings with like Toast and tens of thousands of viewers. So definitely still there, but casually, it's gonna come back bigger this next week because they're new content, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a weird thing. Hey Zeke, I didn't realize I stumbled upon the fact that you were like 30 hours into Persona 3 Fez the other day. How's that playthrough going? What do you think? As someone who's experienced, I guess, Persona 5 and Persona 4 now, you're getting to like the introductory games in a lot of ways. How is Persona 3?
Apparently this is the first time that Persona this is the first actual like Persona feeling game, is according to a lot of sources. Yeah. Like this is the social links, the fusions, the Persona fusions and all that kind of stuff. Like this is the first time that it actually like congealed and it is what you see today. And it's good. It's I would say just as good as it by and large just as good as P4. P5 still by far the standout. It just like it had style to spare. The music is still my favorite. The UI, all that stuff, but it's newer, and it's easier to say that with the newer quality of life shit. Because in order to play this and enjoy it, I had to add a couple of things. I am emulating it. I do have a copy of the
original
of the actual game. In case you guys were wondering, yes, I do have a copy of the actual game. But it allowed me to do party control mod, which is not something that was in the original PS2 game. Which means, you know how in Persona games they start with you with your party just doing whatever they want, and you get to choose what you do.
Yeah,
it's a switch you can toggle off, but it's like by default they do whatever they're told to do. Or not told to do, whatever they want to do AI-wise. This one has no toggle in the PS2 version. So in the emulator, you can add a party control mod, which means you can tell them to heal or whatever, and not charm. Apparently, Marin Karen, the charm spell is like a huge meme in this game, because that's what one of the characters would do constantly and never heal when you needed it or blah 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 blah.
Sounds right.
But so I was told that was probably a necessity for the enjoyment, the quality of life thing. So I did that, but also it's neat because I can also it speeds up. I can do double speed on when I'm grinding when I need to grind.
That's
to
really nice.
Get levels or whatever like that because it's just a button push on with the emulator going. The dungeon design is, it's good, but the Persona games have a tendency to have something cool, but play it the fuck out. A song, an area, I cannot fucking stand the goddamn Blue Room song anymore at all. At all. I cannot do it. It's 3 games of the same song. I can't fucking do it anymore. Not a bad song. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad song. It's just, if you heard your favorite fucking song for 300 hours, it's not going to be your favorite fucking song anymore.
I don't know, man. Pokemon battle theme still goes, I've heard
Sure. Yeah.
But it's not constant. You're right.
Pokemon battle song is meant to be repetitive. The Blue song is just, just nonstop.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just operatic singing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And they really and the thing is, they up the intensity of it after about 5 minutes. You're listening to it for the 4 or 5 minutes, and then it's okay, it's background noise. And then they're like, no, you're going to listen to this. And you're like, Jesus, turn it down. Every time it gets to that point, I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that gets annoying. The level design, it doesn't change. The Persona 5 was that's another reason why Persona 5 is superior, because every dungeon is completely different, themes and colors and all that shit.
Yep.
But this one has it's pretty much the same in the dungeons and whatnot. However, the outside of battle and music and stuff, the social link, social interaction shit, it's pretty much the same. It's high school drama stuff. It's relationship stuff. There's some heavy stuff thrown in there. I thought it was going to be a bit I'm not that far in, I don't think. I thought it was going to be a bit darker than it was, because everyone remembers the the way to summon personas is you take your fake gun and you shoot yourself in the head. Yeah. And all of them do it differently. And my favorite is oh god, I'm gonna blank on her name again.
Mitsuru.
She's the first healer you get. And she turns the gun around and looks at it what is this? Every time she summons her persona, it's oh, and blasts herself in the face. And that's the first thing, people who've never seen this, that's the first thing they say, why do they do this? I've had to explain it many, many times. that it's metaphorical, like it is in every other Persona game. P5, P4, P5. It's a metaphorical thing in a fake fantasy land that called the Dark Hour that everybody lives in and sleeps in and goes to, and yada yada yada. And the guns in the real, like in the real world, are like replicas. They're not even real. They don't even fire.
Yeah.
Yada yada. Oh, but I thought it was going to have darker subject matter because of that particular thing that was mentioned to me, I think by you, JP, like right off the bat.
You're early on. The game definitely is dark.
Okay.
It's got some fucked up shit in it for sure.
Okay.
You're early on.
Cool.
Yeah.
30 hours in and he's early on?
Well, early on in the grand scheme of the story, I guess is what I will say. Like you're still in the character introduction phase.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Yeah.
I mean, chat helped me. My chat helped me. If you remember, like, I think I'm 3 bosses in. I think I've done 3, like actual bosses.
The speed up thing though should cut into game time a lot in terms of speeding it up. I mean, it's literally 2x faster, right, for all the fights.
Well,
so
look at this.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
that looks pretty cool, actually.
The Final Fantasy started doing this with all of their like re-releases and remakes, and I wish Persona would do that as well, because it just there's a certain point in the games where you know what you do and you just are on autopilot. And if you can introduce 2x into it, it would definitely help in that regard.
Yeah, and I have been doing a bit of the grinding or the quest stuff, like the Velvet Room. Elizabeth from the Velvet Room gives you like these little things to do, like find a gold medallion or do this or do that within the dungeon, like fight this enemy, it'll give you this item or whatever. Yeah. I've been doing that like side shit offline, like, or off stream, I mean. And it's definitely made it a little bit more palatable for me. Like, I don't feel boring while I'm playing, because that's the part that gets repetitive and tedious to me, is the fact that sometimes you have to grind. And I don't like streaming it, because I just like, I feel like a zombie while I'm doing it. So I've tried to keep the action stuff, the new content on stream and stuff. But I'm ready for it to ramp up, because I think, like, if I'm gonna give it another stream or two to see if like it keeps going and it finally like kicks over into like what this is actually fucking about, rather than, you know, just bullshit. Like, the age is starting to show a little bit, I guess. But I'm ready for it. Also, I might have to put it on the back burner anyway, because in 6 days, Disco Elysium comes out, and I just said I'd play that day one.
Yeah.
So
that might happen. Be a good break.
Yeah. I might have to put it on the like the back burner, or make it like a day, like it's Persona Saturday or whatever.
Yeah. I was curious, so I Googled, because I remember when this game came out, or maybe a little bit after it came out, it hit national news, at least here in America, because of the way that you summon personas. Like, there's a cutscene at the opening of the game. I remember seeing it when I was like 15 or 16, of kid puts a gun to his head and like shoots himself. And it's a lot. Like, it was a lot then. And I think even now, with like where we're at in the US, it's a lot as well. So I Googled Persona 3 Fez, trying to find those articles. Instead, I found headlines that are just like, these are a lot. From 2009, GameFAQs has kid shoots himself in the head because of Persona. VentureBeat.com has the magic of teen suicide in Persona 3. Destructoid wrote, Europe, don't shoot yourself in the head. Persona 3 is coming. Like, what the fuck are these headlines? Like, Jesus.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So maybe don't make a headline joking about shooting yourself in the head. I don't know. Maybe it was different times. Just a lot. I felt like sharing that. Definitely eye-grabbing headlines, regardless. But moving along. Yeah, that's Persona 3 in a nutshell. So, has anyone in your chat told you what the Fez aspect is yet? Like the okay, all right.
I know there's the at the beginning menu. There's the journey and the ending. No,
I think it might be that like grandiose. Yeah,
something like that. The answer, there it is. The journey and the answer.
Right.
And I know like people have said like that the answer tacks on like 20 more hours or something. It's like the new the added content, like the royal
golden
content.
or the royal. Yeah, exactly. So cool. I hope eventually you do finish it, regardless of how soon or potentially how far away that is. Because the ending, the added stuff, like you said, the royale stuff is good. It's definitely one of the best parts of the game.
The thing that I tend to do in a lot of Persona games is as the Persona, one of the quality of life things that I was talking about before is as the Persona games like P4, P5, they allowed you to do more stuff like in the days and nights and whatever. Like this one, like I maxed out my courage and charms. There's 3 personal stats: courage, charm, academics, right?
Yeah.
And I maxed out charm and courage like super fast. So at nighttime, if there's nobody to hang out with, I got nothing to fucking do now. Right. So it's just like, do I just skip it? Or do I, do I add like, because there's stuff to do, but it's like this minor, like you can give your Persona 1 strength. Like, thanks. Great.
Just go hang out with the ghost kid in your bedroom. Hey, he's great.
Yeah. I wish I could tell when that was going to happen. I wish I could say that. Like, let's do that. There's a couple of nighttime things, but yeah, anyway.
That stuff definitely got fleshed out P4 and finally in P5 they gave you surplus amount of things to do for sure. So well, cool. Like I said, I hope you do see that one through to the end eventually. JERICHO, you kind of hop around from FPS to FPS. How goes? I've talked to you personally about the Valorant grind. How you still on it? Are you still jumping into that?
I committed myself to like at least giving it like a month of actually trying. And yesterday I played for about 4 hours, 3.5 hours, and it was pretty miserable. I have yet to have a day in Valorant where I get off like, yes, I have it has its moments, but it's frustrating coming from a game like Counter-Strike or even Call of Duty or Rainbow Six. Like, I am consistently able to at least feel like I contribute. I can't do shit in this game. I don't know. It's just so hard for me to get into a rhythm, and I feel like I have no idea. So we're working on it. I don't know if I'll get out of gold though.
Yeah. That's the Valorant I've experienced as well.
It is going to be, in my opinion, it is going to be the premier FPS esport in the next year and a half, like maybe even sooner. But like, so that's part of driving my like desire to at least get competent in it, because there are moments where I really enjoy it, and there's things that you can do in this game that are really flashy and exciting to watch. It's brutal for the other 98% of the time, trying to make content with it and streaming and being like happy.
Yeah. It is definitely one of Riot is very good at making soul crushing games that somehow still have you reloading and jumping back into it right after. They have captured the idea that this next hour of your life will be the worst hour of your life, but maybe the next hour after that is going to be really fun.
It's like, look how much fun the other team had beating the shit out of you. We could flip the script if you just load it up one more time.
Maybe if you didn't suck, you might have fun with these. These other guys don't suck because they're doing great. Maybe.
Yeah.
Never know.
You're right.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's a brutal beast. I think it even is more so doubly for me because like I'll play and be like, all right, that was okay. And then I'll go watch, a Hiko or a Shroud or like someone actually good at video games. And it's just like, oh, that's how you play Valor. Okay. All right.
Completely different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a completely different. It's like watching high school varsity games versus like the Olympics, right? They're just far and away better than you will ever be on any level whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Valorant. That's competitive games in a nutshell, ultimately. Which, take them or leave them. What about Tarkov? I know you still are on that Tarkov grind. Are you like working towards the Kappa case, or are you just playing to play?
Slowly. It takes a lot. Like people who play that game full time are, if you're not, like Dr. Lupo or Landmark, like people are now coming into their Kappa containers and stuff. I just enjoy playing this game because I really like the gunplay. It is so. I mean, I think we probably talked about it a couple times when I come on here. Like, it is one of the least forgiving games to try and get into because of how much stuff. Like, it is 50% of the time being spent in this screen.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are a few games that give me the ability to interact with chat this well. I love playing solo. It's kind of like this. There's 10 situations, but in general, it's like a fun experience from start to end. Every raid is generally different. It's one of those games where, like back when you guys were playing, when Co was playing, when they were doing, the
drops,
I guess like the drops. Yeah, I was like, man, I'm gonna hate this. And I eventually just watched enough people that I was like, no, I should give it a shot. So I think it is my most played game on stream. Tarkov is. I just get into it's a really fun end of stream game. I'll play for like 4 hours something, and then I'll hop on for a couple hours of Tarkov and kind of like wind down, hang out. So
yeah,
it fills a nice void for me. But I feel like it's just so hard to recommend to anyone. It's
impossible to recommend. You have to know. You have to sell someone on what the game is, and if they are that type of person, then they will enjoy it ultimately.
Yeah. So I don't blame anybody for looking at it and being like, nope, that's not for me.
Yeah. What is as someone who's only played Tarkov during a quote hype fest, like when drops are going on or something like that? Is the sweat fest just cranked up to 1,000 in like the quote off hours of Tarkov? Or is it just the same?
It's sweaty the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Tarkov does not have the thing about Tarkov is there is no such thing as not sweaty. Like you will, if you try and do anything, like go get anything of value, you will 100% of the time run into somebody who is just, end game. And it's even worse now because in Tarkov, there's a Bitcoin farm you can get, and the developers tied the value of Bitcoin to real life Bitcoin prices. Meaning that during the gigantic ramp up of Bitcoin from $20,000 to $60,000, Bitcoin has completely ruined the economy of Tarkov, where you don't have to play the game and you can just log on and get several $1 million every time. So it completely removed like the hunter gathering aspect. The best ammo is going for $4,000 a round. Right.
Holy
so I'm
shit.
sitting here with 4 million rubles. I could not even afford to do like one real Chad run. It would be all of my money. So it's just, and the devs are a little strong headed on this. So they didn't nerf Bitcoin. They just nerfed all of the ways that you could get a Bitcoin, which doesn't really affect anybody who's sitting here like
without
me.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
I always, friend of the show, Sips, plays Tarkov nonstop off stream. And
really?
He's got a Bitcoin farm. And he's always like, dude, I just got so much Bitcoin. I'm like, wait, like real Bitcoin? He goes, no, in Tarkov. And okay. All right. Well, that's cool, Sips.
It takes away from a lot of the reason why I love this game, in that a lot of games you can perform well with like a mediocre setup. I mean, like if you're not as good as the other player. In this game, at least on the wipe days when they reset everyone's account, everyone's so even on what they're using and the ways that you can get better gear that it really feels like you're on a rat race to just get usable gear. That part's really fun. This part, it's just me fighting against people who play this game way more than me and have an inherent huge advantage. It's still very thrilling if you do manage to kill them. You're like, I'm the best. Like, how did you lose this fight, you idiot?
Yeah. No, I can relate to that for sure. The highs are high and the lows are low, right? Like that's the quintessential. That should be the back of the box quote of Escape from Tarkov.
Tarkov should be, it's mostly lows, but some highs will keep you coming back. Like,
that's the veteran. That they're not going to use on the back of the box, but yes, that's probably the more true version as well. So, I need to jump. Go. Yeah,
that's Tarkov.
Jesus, 5 seconds just standing there looking at something.
Spent more time in the loading screen.
Yeah. I need to. Have they said it? They don't really ever say when a reset is happening, right? It's like the week of. It's like, by the way, reset.
Wipe, yeah.
Yeah.
Most people are guessing like May, June, because they're gonna finalize their big map, the Streets of Tarkov, and they're gonna kind of bring it one step closer to like this. The idea behind Tarkov is having all of the maps interlinked, where you can move between one map to another map in the same rate. It's a really cool concept. At least that was the original one. So, yeah, it'll be this summer, and it goes on sale. So if you are interested in buying it, probably May would be a good time. Should be like half off.
All right, cool. I will most likely jump back in. Real quick, I know that this was at least the buzz yesterday, but then quickly people figured out what this game actually is. I played some Magic Legends, which, oh God, first off, this is a bad game. Don't play this game. It's free. But I cannot recommend it unless you're a diehard Magic fan. Then maybe I can recommend it.
This is linked to Magic the Gathering, then.
Yes, it is a Magic the Gathering world and story and characters from Magic the Gathering in a ARPG from. I'm not even sure. I think it's the devs from the Perfect World or of that ilk is really fucked up to say, but I guess I'm just going to go with that. It's just a bad game. What was that? You're muted. What did you say?
Oh, I said and canceled.
Yeah,
good run.
It's the maps. You can't really see how big the maps are, but essentially what this game was me just walking. I think because I'm in an arena right here. Let's see if I can get out to the overworld, because the overworld was walking through giant open areas with nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean actually nothing in these areas. To go over to an area, to click, to get into an arena, to fight some rather uninteresting monsters, and then rinse and repeat. And that's kind of that. The tutorial alone was 2.5 hours, and that's before you even get I would say the bulk of the game systems revealed to you. It is very, very slow in the tutorial. A lot of people said that when they played the alpha of it, that it was completely different, and this is all new. This is open beta. It is not full release, but they said that they're not going to be doing. There's the map, by the way, for those that are curious. There's fast travel, which of course you do have to load into, and they do make a full locked character animation, which is just also aggravating as all hell. With all that said, they do have a rather interesting mechanical approach to an ARPG when it comes to its skills. So you have 2 base skills, which are your Q and your W. And those are just skills on a timer that you can use at any time. The other aspect that works into the Magic the Gathering world when it comes to the cards is you build decks. And these decks are 12 cards that then are your other skills. And they're drawn at random. I only have 3 unlocked at the moment. I'll get a 4th one here in 20 or 30 minutes. And those are your cards. So they're random. They're RNG in terms of what cards you're given. But that is how the game is progressed and how you move forward, is you randomly draw your cards and you randomly draw your skills to do things like summon a monster or buff a monster with +3/+3, or heal, or whatever. I am playing a green deck character, which just like Magic Gathering, it's based around big monsters. It's based around healing. It's based around that type of stuff. They have all the other base colors. After 3 hours, I unlocked multi-colored decks, which I did not mess around with at all because I was already kind of done with the game at that point. That was a little bit of the equipment that you saw there. Everything has different tier factors to it because, of course, it's a free-to-play game. So there are currencies that you don't necessarily spend with throw money, but they are things that are time investments of collect 8.4 million of this and you can unlock a new class, for example, for one of the extremes. When I quit, I had 7,000. So that's kind of a lot of grind. But that's also one of the things that you can spend real money on, of course, to skip that grind. But all in all, like this whole thing was just really boring. They definitely did not capture the like. There's no. We kept talking and chat kept commenting on the fact that there was no like feedback, and that came on so many different things. There was no feedback in the menus. Like when you click the thing, there's no like button audio. There's no like animation when you click in. It was just like a I don't know how to like describe it. There was no feedback whatsoever. And that was
Weird.
also in the combat. There was no feedback in the combat. There was not. You saw damage numbers pop up, but that was it. There wasn't like the crunch that you get in like a Path of Exile or a Diablo when you're just obliterating hordes of enemies. It was just like, oh, they're dead now type deal. And so I could not find any semblance of fun and was pretty bored throughout the whole aspect of it. But it's free to play if you want to jump in. I think if you are a diehard Magic fan, we had a couple in the chat yesterday saying that they did enjoy, seeing the characters that they've used in their cards for years. And that was a fun aspect, but I didn't like it. I didn't even get into the MTX aspect of it, which is Co actually explained more than they did in the game yesterday to me, that you can just flat out buy cards that you can't get through normal means in the game. You can buy certain heroes that you can't get through
the big ones.
What was that?
Classes. They said there's entire classes on their monetization page that are going to be ones that you buy.
Yeah.
They do make the point to say that they're going to be different, not more powerful. But I mean, they always say that.
They always say that. Yeah.
And for those wondering, they have a whole page up on their monetization. Don't take our word for it. Like you can go read all this yourself.
By all means, definitely do the research if you're at all curious. But yeah, the base game didn't even interest me at all to even look into the MTX aspects of it. And that is never, that's the inverse of what you want, right? Like you want people to, how can I spend money on this game instead of like, God, how can I just leave this game completely? So
right.
Did not have a good time with it. Can't recommend it. That being said, it's free to play. So if you want to form your own opinion about it, which I recommend you to do so, because it'll take about 10 minutes before you realize what's going on. And yeah, that's it. Magic Legends out now, I suppose, in open beta. It's a doozy. Co, you played a shit ton of games in the past 2 weeks. Did you finish Persona 5 Strikers real quick?
No.
Okay.
I am on Dungeon 5? 4? 5. I just finished jails. I just did 3 big jails, and then I did like a mini jail. And without quick Persona 5 Striker spoiler.
Okay.
My favorite new character just found out his thing. That's where I am. Yeah.
Best character
awesome.
in Persona 5. That's what I said.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
Dude, I agree. I actually I've liked him more and more as the game has continued. And
yes.
Now and after that I was just like, oh well, sold. Awesome. This guy's great. Okay,
I 100% agree with you. Yeah.
What's really funny is when you first said that a while ago, I totally thought you were talking about the AI chick. And the entire game,
no,
I was just like, he's okay. Like I don't. Maybe something big will happen that made JP like her. Here's what's also great. I was convinced by my community not to watch the intro, and I can't state this more.
Yeah.
If you are going to play Persona 5 Strikers, do not watch the intro, because I didn't. And it was awesome. It was awesome because it was completely unexpected when everything hit the fan, and I was just like, this is great. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like most Persona games, though, right?
Most Japanese games, let's be real. Yakuza's also real guilty for it.
I'll
never forget Yakuza.
Yeah.
Dude,
I will never forget.
They're shouting at me.
Yeah. In Yakuza, I'll never forget the first time I actually watched an intro, and it showed one of the characters getting shot, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like literally, it shows I think it showed him getting shot, and then the next scene was it slowly panning over their hospital bed, and then a graveyard. It's just like, what are you doing? Oh my lord, dude, so bad, bad. It's been fun so far. I'm playing it a couple hours here and there, and it's really enjoyable. I think the Persona 5 Strikers combat system really kind of leans into kind of the fast, chaotic nature of the game. And I wish I could cut down on the quips a little bit because it gets a little overwhelming to have them yelling at you the entire time.
Dude.
But I've been on hard mode the whole time. The challenge has been fun. Once you learn, I mean, the whole game is just based on spamming weaknesses. That's all it is. Like, you just spam weaknesses the entire time. You load up on every ether thing you can get. You pause a game and you can put as much shit as you want on everybody, and it's just like, it's kind of silly, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
I agree. And you mentioned the quips get a little bit old. Shopping from any vendor in that game when you're buying surplus amount of items is about the worst thing I've ever heard. It's
with the voice.
It's
God.
the same dialogue line every time you buy an item, and I mean and it's full, and especially one character in particular that you buy.
There's this one girl who sells at the supermarket, and she's, "Are you done? Are you done yet? Are you finished? Yeah. Do you want anything else?" And it's just like, "Good, shut up! Oh no."
Yeah,
it's so bad because you have to just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. But yeah.
Also, funny enough, did you? I would guess, saying where you are, did you notice Octopimp's character yet in that game? Because he has a voice line 2 or 3 times throughout that game. I don't know if your chat pointed it out to you. Yeah,
I don't think I did.
He's in there.
I may not be there yet though. That's cool. That's very cool. Man, how'd he land that?
I don't know.
Those games are notoriously hard to get in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really cool.
Good for him, dude. That's really cool.
When they told me about that.
Octopimp is a content creator. Used to be big into YouTube. I think he's moving mostly to Twitch now. But yeah, big friend of Dodger and that crew, and he's a good dude.
Yeah, I think also chat's pointing out ProZD is also in there as well, which is a huge anime guy as well. What about the Outer Worlds DLC 2? Is this the final DLC?
Oh, yes. Okay. This DLC was incredibly surprising. So the entire DLC is a legit murder mystery. And it is not just like a follow a main story thing. It like gives you a bunch of locations to go to and investigate. And there's entire things you like don't need to do, but if you think about it, like, and go to those locations, all of a sudden quests pop up and stuff. It is open-ended. It does not hold your hand. The characters and dialogue are really cool. And the entire time, especially through like the at the end of the first third and then moving towards the end of the game, I was frequently like stopping and having to be like, okay, so we know this and this happened here. We know that this happened. This person has this, but then why did this person say this about this thing? And it's like you have to go and interview everybody. I liked this DLC rather significantly better than the main story.
Dang.
The new area is also big and very cool. It takes place in this like these floating islands on this planet that has like its own ecosystem and stuff. There are numerous things that are very much carrot on a sticks to kind of lead you in different directions. There's lots of red herrings, which is a lot of fun as well. So you kind of have to like suss out if something is like a red herring or not, or if it's actually pertinent to the story and what you're working on. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. It took about, what was it, chat? Like 15 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, it was not by no means short.
Yeah.
They added more levels. They added some more perk levels and stuff, and added a lot more science weapons. And science weapons are like the unique kind of legendary weapons in the game that generally have unique functions or effects. And yeah, it was overall a great time. The one discussion we had frequently in the channel is this DLC has really gotten me excited to see what they're going to do in Avowed. Because this DLC kind of showed me that Obsidian is on the ball right now. Like since this is the last kind of big thing they're doing, potentially before Avowed, with like Grounded and stuff in between. Like this shows they know like this was a lot of fun. It was basically bug free. Whole experience was rock solid. It was long. It was well priced for how much we got. Lots of areas to explore that were kind of like side content and things. Like, yeah, man, 10 of 10 DLC. I really enjoyed it.
I can't help but notice that you have 12,000 ammo. Is that just okay? Is that normal?
This is my 100% run. So this, okay. I would actually use the same thing, like the same save throughout the entire time. So I'm max level. I've got a bajillion ammo. I'm super decked out. Like it was a lot. Funny enough, I'm playing on Supernova difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty, and there were things in this DLC that killed me. Even with all that stuff and all the best things and all the upgrades, like there were things in this DLC that killed me more than a few times.
Are there any new companions? I don't know what they refer to them as in this game in the DLC. Okay, yeah.
No new companions. And there's also, unfortunately, not like a new tier. The thing about Outer Worlds that was kind of unfortunate is the way that they did weapons. A lot of times they'd be like, Bat version 2, Bat 3.0, Bat Ultra. Like, it was really lame. And a lot of people, including me, didn't like it. It was kind of lazy. Later found out it was a resource issue for Outer Worlds. Like, they just didn't have enough to like make, as huge items as a game like this really deserves. But unfortunately, there was not a new tier in this game. So it in terms of like a lot of the gear that I wore, like some of the armor and stuff got a little bit better. But my weapons and stuff were generally the same outside of the science.
Cool.
But now, of course, the good thing is now we have Microsoft bankrolling Obsidian. And we have years of Avowed development left. So hopefully that, in conjunction with the fact that it looks like they're seriously developing good stuff, could be a really nice combo.
Yeah, it's getting more and more exciting for all these companies that Microsoft now has, including every billion, one of the billion companies that Bethesda has underneath it, with just the games that are going to potentially come from that, right? Like, could be really, 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 really good for the RPG world, because everything looks great and BioWare is in shambles at the moment. So,
yeah. Oh God, especially after they cut Anthem loose. Like, talk about, hey, we're going to give you a second chance with this game. Show us what you got. Oh, that's trash. We're canceling that. Okay, go ahead and make Dragon Age now. Thanks.
Yeah,
they're not screwing up, or we're just going to shut you down completely. Yes, we are.
It's rough.
It's kind of bad.
It is bad. It is. Bad.
Also, by the way, quick note. You reminded me bringing up Microsoft. I missed this story from 5 days ago, and it was kind of expected, but kind of interesting. Microsoft dissolved the Zenimax board of directors. Like they
really
they didn't. Yeah,
like nobody's
all those
staying
big
around.
wigs, all those big wigs that were kind of like somewhat controlling where Zenimax was going. Like, Microsoft just kicked them out. Now it wasn't exactly, according to the article, it wasn't like a surprise they did that, but kind of interesting because a lot of people had been talking about how the highest levels of Zenimax were the ones that were kind of driving the monetization ship. So, it's kind of standard procedure, but that could be a good thing for those that were having issues with that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I will also note, for anyone worried that those people were fired, there's a reason they got bought by $6 billion, because most of that probably went to those people.
Yes, they're fine.
They're going to be fine.
They probably all retired. Yeah. Oh yeah, chat's saying that's normal for acquisitions. Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying. But it's one of those things where you don't always think about that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people think like they bought a company and then maybe it's just this same sailing moving forward. But in a situation like that, when they literally kind of, in some case, kind of remove the brain, that could be indicative of some big changes.
Yeah, for sure. Zeke, you sent me some stuff that you played. I do know. I'm curious about Valheim, because I think most of the people that I know that were super addicted to Valheim have fallen off of it. But you got into it, and now you can't stop playing it. Is that what I'm hearing? Like, what is this, a girlfriend thing, or are you just into it yourself, or both?
Well, it's both. It started off checking it out, and it ended up being exactly what people said it was. It's a very fun. I don't know. You know what? I don't know what separates it from other builder games that I've tried.
Yeah.
This one, I get this one. This one makes more sense to me. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it, but I think it's probably because there is a progression. There is an end goal. There's something I'm working towards. It just takes a fucking long time to work towards it.
Sure.
It's just like, in order to defeat the bosses that they set out for you, it would behoove you to learn how to make certain items, certain weapons, certain this, certain that. You also have to figure out, like, in order to get past this part, you should probably have this kind of armor or whatever. And getting to that point, you kind of get lost in the building and organization aspect of it. You're just like, Jesus Christ, this chest is just full of garbage. I need to make three chests to separate this garbage. It's like you're recycling. It's just like, There's plastics in my cardboard. Fuck. Okay, put that there, put that there, put that there, until you come back from like being out on the road adventuring, and then you're just like, I don't want to fucking organize this right now. You just dump it all somewhere and into some container, and just like, all right, it's been an hour since I dumped all my shit. Let's put it in the right spot. Put it in the right spot. There's the spot. There it goes there. And it's just this little satisfying thing. Like you get it when you do it like in real life. Like when you clean your bedroom and you organize your books or whatever you have. If like me, you don't have any books, but you organize something.
Yeah.
You organize your controllers or something, whatever. You get that little hit on the feeder bar, you know? And then you forget like, oh shit, that's right. While I was building and organizing shit, I forgot that what I came back for is this thing, so I could go beat this thing. Like go like explore or whatever. And also like the traveling is insanely annoying. It is insanely annoying, and it's so that you want to build better traveling things. It just fucking, you're just like, okay, going from place to place is so fucking slow. How can I make that faster? Well, there's 10 hours.
Yeah.
You want to go faster? 10 hours of gameplay to get that boat that you want. You know that boat? It's gonna take you about 10 to get there. And then you get that boat and you're like, oh, this is the life. This is the life. And then you're like, I need this boat because I can't transport fucking ore. I can't take fucking ore through a portal. And it's maddening. Especially when you're trying to do it fast.
Sure.
And then you get murdered and you have to go back and try and pick it up without getting murdered again. It's fucking awful sometimes. But most of the time it's pretty okay. It's pretty chill. It's pretty like, you know, like, okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to mine this. I'm going to go clear out this thing. I'm going to go fight this thing. But other times it's just like like one little thing. Like, let me tell you the most recent story. And this happened last night.
Okay.
And it made me so mad I rage quit. And my girlfriend said, do you need a hug? No. Outside. I went outside. I walked around in the snow, just like snow like sizzling off of my fucking skin because some creatures destroyed my boat. Now, that's bad enough. It's not too bad. Because when the boat gets destroyed, like all the materials are there. Unless one of the materials doesn't fucking float. And so there was one thing, and I was in the process. The reason why I needed the boat is I was in the process of moving camps. I was moving my camp to a very cool location that I found, and that was going to be my main base. I was going to put all my portals there. That's where, and it's in a meadow. Like the attacks are going to be light, easy attacks. You know, it's going to be like gray dwarfs, which, man, I eat gray dwarfs for breakfast now. And I'm like, this is going to be sweet. Destroy my boat. And I'm sitting there and I can see it. The fucking nails that you need are sunk at the bottom. And I'm just like, I try and wade in. I'm not close enough. I can't get him. So I'm sitting there going, can you dive in Valheim? Can you dive? And they're like, no. But there is a solution. And this is what I ended up doing. In the middle of the fucking swamp.
Jericho just like got a call or something.
He's out.
Yeah. Yeah. You said swamp, and he's got to go kill someone now. That's his trigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the middle of a fucking swamp, I built a stairway to heaven. And the way you do it is you jump, and the momentum takes you low enough under the water.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just went like, I had to do it 3 times though. I was like, doot. Like it's like grab it. No, I missed it. No shit. So I had to do it. I died. Had to come back. Did it again. Finally, eventually, I got it. But like one little fuck up, one little thing, because you don't realize how long it takes to make and mine and get just nails, just fucking nails.
Yeah.
And it's the key thing. And if you can't get it back, that's hours and hours lost.
Sounds like Valheim.
But yeah, so yeah.
Yep.
But it's got me, man. It's got me. I'm like, I think I want to say 2, maybe 2 bosses in. And a lot of times I just hang out with the lady and she goes exploring and builds, and I like figure out like how to progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Valheim. Is that game still blowing up? Has it started to simmer down now? Like
Simmering.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm sure.
I mean, the thing is there's only so much content. So
sure,
it's the kind of thing where you just kind of run out of things to do. There are a bunch of large updates planned. They have a whole roadmap out, tons of things coming down the pipeline. But I think a lot of people have kind of exhausted the current content. Many have done or are finishing up their mega builds, and then it's just kind of like,
well, it's hard to grow when everybody owns the game.
And by the way,
every single person has the game now.
Yeah.
Like, where do you
I
go
am
from
specifically
there?
talking about on stream and Twitch, by the way. Of course, in the overall world, people are still like the snowball's still rolling downhill. I mean, yeah, as people are saying in chat right now, there's like 3 million
dude,
are still in third place on Steam for sales and everything. So
yeah, the peak,
it's huge.
The peak concurrent players yesterday was 167,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's
of course significantly less than like, yeah, I mean it was the top of Steam for a while, but you know that it's still doing fantastic.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean that's got to be top 10, right, in terms of concurrent.
Yes.
Yeah, because like Steam and or Counter-Strike and Dota are like a couple 100,000.
CS and Dota would be the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
6 million copies sold now.
That's crazy. That's good for them. We keep
dude,
seeing
it's great.
the indie darlings, right? We had Fall Guys, and then they got bought, and then we had Among Us, and they don't need to get bought because they have more money than God, and we've got Valheim doing well, and yeah,
CS:GO, Dota, Valheim, and then the Source SDK based 2013 multiplayer.
Oh.
What's that?
That's
Gmod,
all.
right?
That's like Gmod and all sorts of stuff uses that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Multi-use for sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
Um,
Jesus, I didn't know that Battlegrounds PUBG is still crushing.
huge in Korea and China as well. I think.
No idea.
PUBG just passed 1 billion downloads mobile.
I know it was giant and mobile in China.
1 billion.
Yeah, it's still like the biggest BR in that part of the world for sure.
They're the biggest. Yeah, they're one of the biggest mobile games.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Talking about a smaller company doing well, also Loop Hero is apparently doing fantastic, and Coffee Stain, who is the publisher of Loop Hero, just released the Satisfactory update for their Big Number 4 update. I actually haven't seen that trailer yet.
Huh.
If you wanted to watch it at some point, I've had a lot of people ask me about watching it.
Did we all
but
play
for those
Loop
that
Hero?
like Satisfactory, I think so. Did you play Loop Hero, Jericho?
Did you play Jericho?
Not really my type of game, but I've been hearing a lot about it, and I see a lot of people playing, so I've heard it's fantastic.
It's a very good game.
I'm one achievement away from all of them.
Really? Holy shit, you've been playing.
Yeah. I really like that game. I like that game. Like I pour a ton of hours into games that only require a mouse. Like it doesn't require anything else other than a mouse. And I'm serious. Like this is how I played half the hours I have in Loop Hero. This is how I played. Laying in bed, girlfriend right here, mouse on her shoulder.
on her shoulder.
On her shoulder, using her shoulder as the mouse pad. I'm not kidding you.
Jesus.
He's like, Zeke, I love these nightly shoulder massages you give me. And you're like, yeah, shoulder massage.
Yeah. Am I rubbing the one area too much? Like you rubbed like a circle rash in my arm.
Yeah. Loop Hero is very good. I didn't even make it past the 3rd boss, and I still would recommend that game wholeheartedly. It definitely gets to a point, like it clicked about 20 hours in, and I think for other people this clicked much faster, but like that's not a game about beating bosses, that's a game about farming items. And like the faster that I or the more that I recognize that of like, oh fuck, I have to like set up a camp to farm this one specific type of item so I can get this next upgrade. And then I didn't do that for like 20 hours. Like, well, what the fuck have I been doing? I was just wasting time. Like I died more often than I won, and that was just a complete waste of time where I should have just gotten out and saved my resources. And it took me way too long to realize that. So I just was like, yeah, this game's great, but I'm gonna move on to something else. So I played the Avengers DLCs. I don't really have anything constructive to add to that conversation because I don't know what.
It's a good game, right?
The single player is fun. I enjoy the stories. The shitty part is those stories are 2 to 3 hours long per DLC. And then it's like, why am I playing this game? Because there's nothing at the end game. I can make my character better for no reason at all. Right? Like there's so many things that like the game just doesn't have. So there's no pull to continue playing. The second to second aspect is like fun. This is a loot goblin, by the way. They took that and put that in here because why not?
This looks really engaging.
Yeah. It is.
This whole fight.
The best part was all that loot that I got right there fell off the map. I didn't actually get the loot. So yeah. Yeah, I don't want to say that this game is going to go the way of Anthem because I think Anthem had different issues. But I feel like the reason this game is at where it's at is because working with Marvel is a fucking nightmare. And I think we saw that as well when it came to Kingdom Hearts 3 because it was working with Disney, who is also just, Marvel is just an arm of Disney. And like the licensing on that and the control over IP that Disney wants on stuff limits and lengthens everything when it comes to that. In a lot of ways, I'm making excuses for the devs, but I think I saw that with Kingdom Hearts, and I think that's why Kingdom Hearts 3 suffered, and I think that's why this game suffered. It's the biggest IP in the world, and they are very controlling over how you use that, and so you get things that aren't really the best for a video game. But with all that said, like the 2 to 3 hour story was generally fine. It was cool to see Kate Bishop, who's a character that I enjoy, and I enjoyed Hawkeye, I enjoy Iron Man, like all these, Avengers, right? They're great. I love the characters, and you get to see the story stuff. Just after you finish that 2 to 3 hour campaign, there's no fucking reason to continue playing, right? Because there's nothing to do except for the same story missions that you've already done.
So, out of curiosity, JP, what if this game wasn't based around heroes that you already know and love? What if all these people were just like in-game characters created for the game?
100%, I probably wouldn't care. Like the Marvel fandom, the Marvel fan in me is why I play this game. It has nothing to do with like really anything else other than that. And that's why you make a game around Marvel, right? Like you get people like me who will just buy it because it has Marvel on it. And that's in a nutshell licensing in the video game world. But outside of that, like this would essentially be Destiny if Destiny had nothing to do with the end game. Or I guess like, did Anthem have stuff to do once you hit cap? I don't even recall.
No,
I don't even know.
I
if
never
I made
played
it
it that long.
You did the same missions that you did on like a harder difficulty. The gear grind was basically non-existent. You could get like a few different things, but there was almost no customization. There was like only one way you could go on most class. It was an absolute mess.
Yeah. And I've read a lot of like very interesting articles and takes on the game. A lot of people like it is a game as a service, but there's a lot of I think Gene Park at Washington Post, or maybe it might have just been like a YouTube video saying that like this is a brawler. This is not a game as a service. They need to drop the idea that it's a game as a service and treat it as a brawler. And it would be in a much better place if they did such a thing. Because like they put out a roadmap. That was one of the big updates they put out at that Square Enix event last week, was finally 6 months after release, a roadmap. And in that roadmap was couple things. One of the big things, which I think has to be IP related, was the idea that it's called a tachyon level or tachyon something or other. Tachyon raid, maybe. It's not an actual like raid though. It was the idea that you can have 3 Hulks playing at once. They had to create an entire in-game, in-universe reason for the fact that there were 3 Hulks running around. And that just screams that it's a fucking IP. Like, that's Disney saying, like, well, you can't have 3 Hulks on the screen. There's only 1 Hulk, right? Like, there's no other reason for that to exist. And I feel like as a dev, that's just got to be the worst feeling. Did you have to make a reason for that to be the case?
Well, it seems like an easy fix with, like with the way they use PIM particles, like in case you haven't seen the fucking Avengers.
Yeah. 100%. And Dr. Pym is in this game. He's one of the characters. He's one of the main, like pushing forward characters reasons why anything. Yes, there you go. Protagonist of why things happen. He's not playable, but he's one of the reasons why things happen. And PIM particles are in this game, and they kind of use it for that very reason. Zeke. Okay. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if after the now announced Black Panther Wakanda expansion comes out for this, that's it. Like, that's all we see. But
didn't you just say they had a roadmap and stuff?
They had a roadmap, yeah, and that's the end of the roadmap. Is later this year the Black Panther character will drop, and Wakanda, which is a new area, will drop. Wakanda is supposed to have a raid in it, but they didn't say anything about the raid in that expansion or in that press conference. They also had a war table, which is kind of like their community streams where they might have gone into it. I didn't catch it. So you might maybe in the chat that's there, but yeah, like the game, you need a reason to play. And right now, after you finish the story, which takes all of 2 to 3 hours, and you finish that story at like level 7 with 50 being the cap, to get to 50, you're grinding story missions, or you're grinding aspects of those story missions. This boss right here, I fought this guy 4 times in the main story.
I gotta admit, because like this part right here was like, this looks kind of cool, like giant walking fight thing, lots of little points, like, looked like the fight was pretty engaging. Like,
yeah,
I mean, this kind of stuff looks all right. It's too bad the rest of it just kind of isn't, from the sounds of it.
Yeah. The other thing that is really frustrating that I think might be one of the biggest flaws of the game is when you start a character at level 1, you have your light attack, your heavy attack, your 3 abilities, and that's it. As you go all the way to 50, you get a character point or like a spec point. And that unlocks the actual character in a sense. So when you're playing at like level 1, you have like 4 tools. When you're playing at level 50, you have those 4 tools where you're making decisions on how you want those tools to operate and actually playing the character in a lot of ways. And in grinding, I mean, that's like a 10-hour grind to actually play the character fully realized. And that's just, it's not a fun thing to do, right? Like, I understand the idea of character advancement, but make that like gear based or something, right? Like give me an ulterior or alternative path to progress in that. Don't make it like a Diablo style thing where you're unlocking new skills as you go through it, right? Like, give me that full thing right off the bat. Make it enjoyable right off the bat. Don't make me grind to make it enjoyable in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I'll continue to play the story stuff as they put it out because it's so short and I can jump in for 3 hours and, see what Kate Bishop's character is like and story is like. And they're great. The voice acting's great. The game, this was the other update, was the PS5 update. So I was playing at 4K 60. Ran great. I had one major crash on launch day, and I think that got a hot fix right afterwards. So that aspect of the game has been fixed, but a lot of the issues now are just like fundamental gameplay, like core issues of the game that they're either going to have to address or I don't know. I don't know where this game goes a year from now. It's telling when the biggest like news that this game gets are like hit pieces about like, oh, Steam had 2,000 players the day the patch came out. The day before that, it was 200, right?
Ooh.
And like that's the major press that you're getting. Is gamers.com writing an article about the amount of people playing on Steam. That happens like every 3 months with this game. Even like IGN and GameSpot have gone the way of like, this is the press on Avengers is the player count. And that sucks, right? Like that sucks for people that are actually interested in the game. That sucks for the developers. I'm sure that sucks for Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix and even Marvel, who like want to push this out there. And the sentiment around the game, if you go and like look at any of the promoted Marvel posts on Twitter, it'll have like 3,000 or 4,000 likes. It'll have about 200 comments. Every single one of those comments is like, go fuck yourself. This game's shit. Like, they're all very negative and not supporting of the game. So it's got a lot. They've got a lot of stuff that they got to try and solve. I feel like that roadmap was potentially a good step forward, but we'll see where we go from there. Right? Like it's a tough time. I don't think it's where Anthem is or was at any point, but if they don't start changing stuff, I could quickly see it getting to that point. Which sucks because I just want more games around the quality of like Spider-Man, right? For the PS5 or for the PS4 and PS5, where like they're 10 out of 10 well-made Marvel games with characters that are awesome and badass. Instead, it's like, go kill this boss that you fought 4 times. Hit the same button over and over because you can't unlock any other skills unless you do it for a couple times, right? So that's that. I don't have any intention of playing this game after I finish the stories, which took, for the 2 DLC, which I think are the only 2 DLC out, took 5 hours, maybe 4 hours, maybe. But that's what it is. It's a bummer. It bums me out, but I still enjoy playing it because I'm a Marvel fan, right? That's where it get me. Luckily, it's all free. I should also note I didn't pay for any of that.
I was going to ask, how much did they get you to pay for it, though?
DLC's free.
Yeah.
You can pay for costumes, but there's also ways to earn it in-game in the sense of like a battle pass that if you play enough, you will earn and unlock that battle pass, which I guess is maybe, I was asking like, why do you play? You play for the skins for the different costumes if you don't want to outright pay for it. So that's that.
I like the entire time you talked about it. It was the subtitle was Outer Worlds DLC.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, that'll get everyone on Twitter to go shit on those games.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but
no, you should have. It's one of those things where if I'm talking, it's hard for me to adjust that in real time. But
yeah.
Well, cool. That's that. We'll end drop frames as we started on a depressing note about middle school conversations.
Damn.
Let's do some shout outs and call it a show. We'll save. We have a ton of indie games that Zeke and Co have been playing that we have not covered. Curse of the Dead Gods being one of them, which I'm very curious to talk about. Zeke finished Breath Edge. Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. So we got more for next week. JERICHO, thanks for coming on. I appreciate.
Thanks for having me. It's been a minute.
Yeah. It had been I want to say like before COVID started.
Yeah, if I hadn't jumped on for like a game review, like if I didn't jump on E3, then it's been a year or so. So
yeah.
Always good to come back.
Yeah. Do some shout outs. JERICHO, talk about where people can watch you. Talk about what you got coming up, all that stuff.
You guys have convinced me to play Fall Guys today, so I'm down. Oh my god, I'm not not a Minecraft Elite stream. You guys can check me out on twitch.tv/JERICHO. If you guys want some DMCA free music, you can check out my record label, Night Mode Records. All right, it's available on Spotify and every other major thing. So go give us a listen.
There you go. Check them out. Zeke, do some shout outs.
I actually liked school. Even though I looked like butthead, I actually had a good time in school. I did pretty well as well. Anyway, thank you, JERICHO, for being on the show. Thank you, Co and JP, for being the co-hosts every week. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III, just like that, on all of the platforms. If you want to check me out, I might be on later today. We'll see. It's going to be a chill stream either way, but I will be back on tomorrow for sure, contractually obligated, because I'm doing a sponsored stream to start the day tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, I'm going to be checking out the SNK Amazon Prime Gaming new library. Library of like retro games that you can play on Amazon Gaming, I guess. So I'm going to be checking out a few of those. Like, remember Baseball Stars? Remember that? I used to play that at my pizza parlor. So check that out. Samurai Showdown, you know, all the classics. So that's what's happening tomorrow. After that, probably continuing some Persona. And that's what I got. Oh, and then Friday, gonna be checking out Risk of Rain, the new update to that.
Nice.
And then after that, probably some more Persona.
Hey man, that's streaming Persona right there. It's just, and then we'll do some more Persona after every stream.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. And then on the 30th, of course, if not before, unless I can. Man, I'm trying to pull some strings. I'm really trying to put out all my markers to try and get see if I can play Disco Elysium early, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But definitely on the 30th, if nothing else.
Cool. Do some shout outs.
Sure. As always, a big thank you to JP and Zeke. Always great having Jericho on the show. Hopefully he will have a chance to come back after all of the near stuff. Could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I like it. On that note, my name is Ko. Hi. I will be back tonight in about 2.5 hours, just a little bit less. We're probably going to be doing some Neo 2, maybe some My Time at Porsche, maybe some Fall Guys during the cozy stream. We just play whatever I want for that time. For the day streams, we're working on Arkham Horror, Mother's Embrace. I played that today and it was actually pretty fun. Gonna do that tomorrow. Also, I've got my eyes on a game called Paradise Lost, which looks really interesting. We'll probably be checking out that this weekend. Also making a return to Persona 5 Strikers as we work through that. We have Disco Elysium coming up. We have Outriders coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up. So to see on the channel, starting every day at 8 a.m. and then in the evenings again during our cozy stream at 6:30.
Cool. What do I have going on? Bunch of sponsors. It seems like sponsors are just out in force lately.
Oh yeah, forgot to mention that.
Yeah, Ko and I, not together. He'll be doing a different stream than me. I think we're both playing Tony Hawk either tomorrow or Friday at some point for the PS5/Xbox Series X update. I'll be jumping into Rise, so I tried my hardest to hold out and not play Rise till the PC release, but they got me. They're going to get me to double dip, those assholes over there. So I'll be jumping into that whenever it unlocks. I'm hoping I get early access tomorrow. I was told I get early access, but still don't have code for it yet. So see where that goes. Weekends, we'll be doing Final Fantasy 14 raids as usual. Saturday, we're actually going to be jumping into the new Joseph Fares, I forget how to pronounce his last name, game. The Brothers and A Way Out guy, his new game, It Takes Two, is coming out. And me and Aurelian are going to jump into that. It's co-op only. It came out today with reviews. Seemed to have gotten pretty good reviews, so I'm excited to jump into that. More Monster Hunter Rise after that, and then Outriders on the 1st.
Woo!
I guess that's next Thursday is when that comes out. So I'll be jumping into that, as well as a handful of other sponsored streams throughout there that I don't know if I'm not comfortable talking about them because I don't know if I can talk about them yet. But they're going to be everywhere, so just pay attention, or you can head over to jpedia.net to find out the schedule and what we got planned. So that's that. There's a lot of stuff coming up for all of us. Make sure you check it out on all of our Twitters and Twitch streams, and just visit the stream next week as well, because we'll give you all the updates and all the rundown once again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern for more Drop Frames. Jericho, it's been a blast. We'll see you on...
Thanks, guys.
No, we won't see you on Monday. We'll see you next Monday for some more Mr. Robot.
Yes, next Monday.
Yeah. You're going out of town or something like that.
No, my parents are coming in town. Haven't seen them in a year and a half, so you know.
Yeah, that's true.
COVID. Gotta spend some time.
Yeah. Wait, why is Zeke saying shit?
I haven't seen my mom in about that long too.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Go
COVID,
get some family
folks.
time.
Go get vaccinated. That's our message to you. Call a CVS. Get those ones that they're going to throw away. It's easy. We're out, though. Until now, or until then, we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.